We're all feeling the pain at the pump. As gasoline prices rose in the 15 years or so ago, some suggested that converting our corn supply to ethanol was the answer. And both the automotive industry and environmentalists quickly embraced that theory. Now, with hindsight always better than foresight, a new study finds that corn-based ethanol may actually be worse than gasoline for the environment. As a refresher, ethanol is made from corn, and for years it's been mixed with gasoline to be sold at America's gas pumps, typically as E10, E15, or E85. And the E is the ethanol percentage mixed in with gasoline. Now, ethanol is now a key ingredient in today's gasoline. But the promise of ethanol as an oil and climate solution is not all that the government promised. A new study published by the National Academy of Sciences, or NAS, could deliver a death blow to E85 ethanol fuels. When it was originally introduced, automakers were on board with the use of E85. It was better for the planet, according to the proponents. So, corn that would have normally gone to feed millions of people around the globe would instead be processed to fill up for your gas tank. Now, it takes 7 bushels of corn to create 1 gallon of ethanol, and farmers looked for the subsidies. Who'd blame them? But the results included an unintended consequence that was the increase of food costs. Now, farmers could have produced other products, but the government and the environmentalists pushed really hard for that effort. It's important to note that you can still find gasoline without ethanol that's needed for collector cars, small engines such as lawnmowers, ATVs, and snowmobiles. The NAS study now contends that corn-based ethanol is worse for the environment than gasoline. In fact, it's at least 24% more carbon intensive than gasoline. And predictably, the ethanol trade lobby has trashed the study because they're able to slop on the government trough of their subsidies. And it's about money. They get paid for the corn, whether it works as an additive or not. Welcome back to Car Coach Reports. I'm Lauren Fix. If this is your first time here, we give you more than car reviews and first looks of new vehicles. We give you car smarts because knowledge is power. Make sure to subscribe and click that little bell for notifications so you don't miss anything. The newly published study finds that corn-based ethanol, roughly 24% more carbon intensive than gasoline, and the report could influence the future of biofuels, a subject that is now under review by the government. Under the 2005 Renewable Fuels Standard Act, U.S. refiners were required to mix 15 billion gallons of corn-based ethanol into gasoline each year. Meanwhile, there was pressure on the refineries to boost distribution of E85, a fuel mix of 85% ethanol and 15% gasoline. Compliance required vehicle modifications such as the use of stainless steel fuel lines to prevent damage, because it's highly corrosive, from highly corrosive ethanol. Despite the added cost, automakers were pushing to make these E85 or flex fuel cars in order to earn fuel economy credits they received for these models. This government push for ethanol technology never lived up to its billing, and dependence upon corn-based ethanol grew rapidly. Between 2008 and 2016, the new study noted that the farmland in the U.S. devoted to providing corn for alcohol grew by 6.9 million acres. It should be noted, though, that while the increase in acreage might be thought of as land used to actually produce ethanol, what's most considerable is sweet corn, a tiny percentage of our corn crop, with a vast majority of it being used for animal feed, production of high fructose corn syrups, and other products that we eat. Still, the result created the opposite effect of what ethanol backers claimed. According to the research, which was backed in part by the National Wildlife Federation and the U.S. Department of Energy, carbon stored in soil was released, while the use of the fertilizers increased. And modern fertilizers create numerous environmental problems, starting with emissions released during their production. Predictably, the Renewable Fuels Association claims the study is based on the worst-case assumptions and cherry-picked data. Here's the bottom line. The NAS study could have a big impact on the in-progress review of the use of biofuels. The original mandates were extended through 2022. The EPA is expected to announce future targets in May that could impact the levels of all biofuels, as the current administration wants to push and focus on the shift to electrified vehicles. Any cutback or modification of ethanol as a gasoline component is likely to generate severe controversy and could come into play as an issue during the upcoming midterm elections. The government loves to push new agendas without doing the research of how the flavor of the month agenda impacts the environment. Consumers at the pump is a big factor, and that affects elections. We need to look no further than the use of asbestos or lead paints to realize that jumping without knowing what's on the other side of the hurdle can yield disastrous and expensive results. If you got value from this video, give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this one. If you have additional questions or comments, because you always do, put them down below in the comment section. Let's open that conversation. I'm also answering questions on my social media, all platforms at Lauren Fix. And there's more on our website, carcoachreports.com, with content in English and Spanish. And if you're still looking to get more car smarts, check out my book, Lauren Fix's Guide to Loving Your Car. The link is down below. I'm a co-host on the Total Car Score podcast. On all platforms, we go behind the scenes and we talk about how the industry ticks. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.